All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
ReZero, Season 2, Episode 7.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
Beatrice.
last episode, we had Subaru going at it a second time, but still leading to horror. And wow, we got to see some really cool action.
We did indeed.
We got to see Frederica's transformation. We encountered, apparently, the Maw Beast from the Frozen Bonds OVA.
Yeah.
Like...
either the same one or the same type or something. Yeah, there were a few things that we actually...
We missed. Yeah.
So, apparently, it was Frederica, not Beatrice.
That was a brain fart, because we definitely said that like a few episodes ago.
Right.
But
then also... because of what was the thing of how we know that it's not someone from the thing, because they weren't trying to get Subaru. Beatrice was actually the shut-in.
The thing that Elsa said, that the attack was timed, the kills were going to be timed to his return, but because he's here earlier, he's
here when the attack goes down. Yeah,
right, which means that the shut-in is most definitely Beatrice,
which I love, because that means that someone actually had the gall to call Beatrice a shut-in.
I mean, that's kind of what she is.
It's accurate. But still,
and that's, I think, the reason why I tunnel visioned on that so hard was because the words shut-in is a very, like, in my mind, a very, like, specific kind of real world thing and stuff, but I realized, no, that's pretty vague. It doesn't necessarily mean neat or what have you.
Yeah, the vernacular could easily translate, especially since the story was created in Japan. So, and now we're in a situation where Subaru is alive. With Beatrice.
With Beatrice, though.
But he kind of does need to die at some point to reset this.
Yeah. The part that's going to be weird about this, though, is that Beatrice usually, in the season 1, was one of the more helpful entities at the mansion with regards to figuring out kind of how to handle this whole thing.
Right.
So is this going to be where Subaru kind of gets a little bit of a key to understanding why this is happening and why it's happening now and why they're being targeted? Or is it just there's enemies of the mansion with regards to what Roswaal is doing, because Roswaal is now separated from the mansion because he's inside the sanctuary, which means he can't defend it from attackers or assassins like Elsa.
Yeah.
But also the fact that there's a freaking Maw Beast here of that kind. Like, apparently they're called like witch beasts. Like, they're that crazy powerful and stuff. So
I'm very excited to see how this goes.
So good luck, Subaru. Stay strong, buddy. Without further ado, let's get into this. Wow. Yeah, he needs to die. Oh.
お前があの部屋に戻る理由はたった今亡くなったかしら。
助けようって思ってくれるなら、なんでみんなを。
Oh, buddy.
お前ならできたさ。
Okay.
Yeah.
どうしてベティがそんなこと。
誰が助けてくれなんて頼んだんだよ。
Wow.
自分が何したか分かってるのか。お前のせいで何もかも台無しになるかもしれねえんだぞ。このクソみたいな今が確定して。お前は俺を殺すべきだったんだよ。
I don't think we've ever seen Beatrice like this.
This is new.
ならいい。お前が救ってくれないなら。
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Because she doesn't understand, but like the fact that he's speaking with such conviction. Yeah. Whoa. Talk, Beatrice, talk.
Yeah,
Come
time
on.
for a conversation here.
Time for a good talk.
Bit of explaining that needs to be done.
本になきゃ何もできないのか。なら前に俺をかくまってくれたのは。
その質問もないのよ。
死にかけた俺を助けようとしたのは。
知らない。
何もかもその本に書かれた通りでなきゃできないってのかよ。
そうかしら。そうなのよ。そうするためだけにベティはいるのよ。
Holy shit.
So is she? An archbishop?
ふざけて怒鳴り合ってバカみたいにはしゃいだ時間も。だから
そうだって言ってるかしら。これまでベティがしてきたこと、見たこと、言ってきたこと、全部ここに記されていることなのよ。お前なんかがベティの心を動かせるはずなんてないかしら。
Ah, well, shit. How'd she get in? Yep.
あら。
Oh.
Okay. Well, this is a development.
This is crazy.
This is just a bit of a development.
No new save point. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's what that's the best we can hope for with a death, you know?
Yep. And I think he can still go a little bit faster. He can get there a little bit faster.
Definitely. Yep. Go through this again.
Probably.
Whoa. Yeah. Talk to Roswell about
Okay,
Beatrice.
yeah, that's a good point. That is a very good point.
Otto.
大丈夫ですか？とても落ち着いて見えます。
だろう？それなら
エミリア様があの状態でってさ、
Oh, which is
Yeah.
sus.
危うくありませんか？
Yep.
相手はあのロズワールだ。今度ははぐらかされてる場合じゃねえ。お前もよくよくパターン化されないやつだな。
He's like, what does that mean?
さっさと帰ってたろって話。俺は大事な用事があるんだがな。
The
I have
slightest
no idea
little
what you're
thing.
talking about.
I just realized something about Garth.
What?
I'm gonna save it for the discussion.
Okay.
黄色っぽい化粧。やめろや。聞くと気が見える。場所変えからついてっこいや。また違う展開じゃねえかよ。つくぜ。
What's here?
So the thing I thought about him, did you see his outfit's color design on his top torso there?
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's in league with them.
そんな場所に招待されるなんて、これは秘密を打ち明けられる機会も近いか。
調子のいいことを言いよるわい。
それを使って聖域の人たちを結界の外に連れ出す。それなら試練を受けなくても OK なんだろう。
しかし、固くなに試練を避けるのは。
エミリアに試練を受けさせたくない。
Okay.
それは完全な俺のわがままだな。
That should force a response here.
エミリアはいずれ必ず過去と向き合う。
逃がそうとするのに、一番苦しいところからだけは逃がしてやらんのじゃな。
逃げずに打ち勝ってくれるって、あの子にぞっこんな俺は信じ込んでっからね。ガッドギーグワッドゼアットの山ごもりと同じだってな。ありがたいけど、何がさっぱりわからない。
フ
Okay.
レデリカが出られたのは例外的なことじゃ。あの子は結界にとらわれる条件を満たしておらん。結界が根血を判別する基準が血の濃さなんじゃ。人とあの血が同等に濃ければ結界にとらわれる。
Okay.
クォーターとかなら結界にかからない。
Right, or 3/4 or something. Yeah.
父親が違えんだ。
Ah.
Okay.
ガーフィール・ティンゼル。
人の母と根血の父の間の子じゃ。故に森を自由に出入りできる。
So she's the perfect agent then for Roswell.
Right, and that's why Ram was able to leave because she lost her horn.
ガーフィール、リュウズさん、実は俺から提案がある。
提案とな。
ロズワールとエミリアにはこれから了解を取るんだが、試練はエミリアの代わりに俺が受ける。はあ？やや
Okay.
こしいことになった。そう思ってるか、リュウズさん。
So he's thinking if he can pass all the trials to get Roswell back, then Roswell can beat Elsa.
ここでスーボーにはおと
Oh,
なし
right
くしてもらわ
now.
ね
What
ば
are you
なら
about
ん
to
という
do?
ことじゃ。
Oh!
どうしてと思っておるじゃろうな。
Well.
約束は守る。口外はせん。リューズシーマの名にかけて。
Okay. Okay.
Oh
Well,
shit! Oh,
okay.
that's the worst. He's getting held captive.
This is not good at all.
先に言っとくが、助け呼んでも無駄だぜ。誰が無駄だってよ。
Oh, tell me more, please.
Yes.
Wait, you guys? Hold on.
So if anything, Garth is a good guy. We
Yeah.
need to do this over again.
Yep.
And yeah,
Because he's being very defensive, yeah.
Oh, whoa,
Shoot!
whoa.
Oh,
This is really bad.
okay.
This is really bad. So, do they like have past experience with people that have had maybe returned by death?
That's what I was originally thinking, but I think it's just cultists.
Okay.
Disappeared.
一人で
Ah.
Nice. Otto.
Yeah.
Otto. Otto, my man. Oh, crap. Crap.
Shit.
Oh, no. He noticed that.
Yeah.
Generate enough. Wait. Oh. One of those clones from the OP.
Yeah. Is this jailer or something? Giving him something so that he'll stay alive?
Yeah. Yeah. Just enough.
Right.
Wow. This is ingenious, though. As enemies of who they think is someone who's a friend of the witch. Yeah.
Right. And it totally makes sense. If he's like, oh yeah, just kill me, then
They're like,
that,
no.
that sounds like a cultist.
Yep, that was
And
what I
there
was
we
gonna.
go. Yep,
yeah.
yep.
Oh,
Me too.
I was literally thinking if he can generate enough force,
But
that's such a slow way to die.
Uh-huh.
And he'll be screaming in pain before.
Well, thankfully he's gagged.
No, that won't matter. He will be screaming in pain before he splits his skull. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
ひどい状態とは思ってましたが
Otto?
思った以上に厳しそうですね
Oh!
Wait, you gonna save him?
Are you a friend?
あげないでくださいかなり危ない橋を渡ってきて
No way!
見
Okay.
張りに捕まるのはごめんです
Holy crap.
お互い諦めは
Oh my god!
それで昨日今日とエミリア様は危機迫る様子で試練に挑まれましたそれでも超えられないことに痛く心を痛められているそうで
あいやなんでお前も聞いてきたみたいな説明なんだ
Oh.
実はですね僕もガーフィールに目をつけられて僕はお二人が最後に会ったのを見てたじゃないですかそしたら
Yeah.
彼は言ってきました夏希さんと彼が会っていたことを秘密にしていれば危害は加えない
But how are you here?
まあ威勢のいい選択の割にグダグダなのはご愛嬌ですが
高すなお前バカ
Yeah,
だろ
yeah.
なんでそんな真似したんだ
あのですね夏希さん友人を助けようとするってのはそんなにおかしなことですかね
Oh.
Okay.
Alright.
All right.
Aw.
いや突然俺の知らない人が出てきて
Hmm.
友人さんってのは
頭から尻まで結論が間違ってますよ友人じゃなくて友人友達
友達誰と誰が
僕と夏希さんが
スブル
確かに僕がここに来たのは利害の一致がありますよ
Subaru, you're being mean.
僕のこととか
Yeah.
状況から助けて
Yeah, yeah. Think about the canon
Exactly.
timeline, man. There's a lot.
でも
We've been through a lot together.
酔っ払ったら僕は夏希さんをただの友人だと思ってますよ
Okay, okay. There you go, Subaru. Yeah.
Yeah. No, no. Shh.
友達かそっかそっかおっとお前俺と友達になりたかったの
Subaru.
痛い何すんですか言った僕が大バカでしたよ分かってましたって夏希さんが笑うことぐらい
いや笑わずにいられる
Ah.
お前がおかしいんじゃない呆れちまって笑うしかねえんだ
Oh. Ah. Yeah, yeah.
夏希さん
Yeah, he's...
お前は俺の友達だよ夫
Now please hand over the knife used to cut my bonds.
Yep.
No!
Really?
Okay.
Okay.
That is it. Like, considering how crazy all of the cliffhangers have been for, like, the episodes recently, I'm very surprised that it ended there.
This was like a huge breather. Just like, hey, no, relax.
Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Okay. I have questions, though.
That whole scene with Beatrice.
The Beatrice one has some serious implications.
Yeah.
Second one, though. Frederica hasn't been to the sanctuary in 10 years. Why is she sent to the mansion now?
No, she had been working at the mansion for a long time and then stopped working at the mansion for a while.
I understand that. Why was she sent back to the mansion now?
Yeah.
Because if Roswell went to the sanctuary, right?
Right.
I'll have to go back and look at the previous episodes. But how did he pass along that Frederica needed to be there? Was it because was it something where he's headed to the sanctuary, so he's like, Frederica, come back. Oh, end credit scene.
Oh, really?
Hell yeah, you would, Ram. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay. I am really glad that this was a slower episode in total because I feel like the stuff that did happen in this episode is kind of really big.
Yeah, it's Beatrice's. Beatrice's final outburst of like, well, not really final, but like her outburst of like, I've had it. I'm gonna basically, not release. Okay. She's going to reveal in some ways what a liar she's been basically all along.
I suppose. Yeah.
That's a way of looking at it. So, first things first. She has the gospel. Second thing, what she's been reading all this time, well, at least for a lot of it,
right?
Is the gospel.
Yeah, but also, and this is something that I want to mention this because this is what I thought it was originally, and it seemed, and we went back and it very much seemed to not be the case.
Yes.
I thought it was that when Subaru came here the last time and he had that gospel, that he left it here because she was like, what's this? All that and all that stuff.
How do you have this?
Right, how do you have this? Let me study it.
But it was more of a, how do you have this too?
Right. Because then,
that's what it was,
then when he sees it, he's like, it's not how she's treating it. It's the fact that she has it, and he's like, "What? That's just something that looks like one, right?
Yeah. Why do you of all people have one of those? That was
right, exactly. So this is something that she also has, which now that makes it seem like she's an archbishop, but and that very well could be what it is. That very well could be what it is. But at the same time, she did not. It was never actually stated, yes, I'm an archbishop or anything like that.
Yeah.
So at the very least, it's something that's complicated, right? And that's kind of inherent if she's an archbishop, but she's also been helping people out and stuff. And I love the whole part where she ends up blowing up at Subaru and is like, you think that I I absolutely held to the guidance of this book in all our interactions. I never broke them for you. Don't think, I actually grew to care about you or anything. You're too full of yourself, human. It's like, okay, awesome,
right.
Cool.
Yeah.
But
we don't buy a second of that, basically.
Right, exactly.
Because no, of course she was moved by him. There's multiple times in things like the OVA where we see that she's absolutely has her heart moved by Subaru. In some ways, that's one of the most important things so far as to why that OVA was one that we watched before season 2.
Yeah, like if there was to be,
gives a lot of Beatrice characterization.
Right.
In fact, we hear her mention mother in that OVA, in that's one of the reasons why she doesn't drink.
Right.
Maybe in some ways just in the context of that because her grandmother was an alcoholic.
Right.
But in this case here, it's there's more to it than that.
Right. And I'm like, this there's a few things that this makes me wonder. Was her mother a witch? Was her mother an archbishop? And she has the leftover tome of her mother.
Yeah.
Right. And
Possibly.
now it's well, this is the only way I can still connect with her or whatever. I'm still trying to understand this and stuff because
I have a purpose by reading this that will help in the overall conflict.
Exactly. Because now that we know that from in the previous episode she was described as a shut-in, it's like, okay, there are some implications that come with that. But the idea of a magical person sitting in a room with a shit ton of books
and just reading one of them.
That too.
Overtly on one of them.
But that's something being stuck in a room reading books, that's a mage's heyday. Like that's them being their most productive, right? So that seems like it would be totally normal, But hold on, there might be something
more to
it than that.
Yeah.
Which I'm very much excited to get into. I love the fact that even though we had this conversation and we know that something is going on here, we don't really know what it is. We know the emotional context for it. Or not really even context. We know the emotional tone of it.
Yeah, we know that this encounter caused Beatrice a lot of pain.
Right.
This was something that she really didn't want to have to do. If she had her way, she'd have just gone about her day reading the book.
Right.
And just gleaning from it or what have you. But she wasn't going to leave this place.
And there are a couple things that I want to bring up here. One is the fact that she saved him, but then saved him when he tried to kill himself with the shard of pottery and everything. But she didn't save him when Elsa came in.
Right.
Now, we also didn't see her dead when Subaru got to the mansion the first time. Now, Elsa did say that my job involved 2 maids and a shut-in.
And all the doors were open.
And all the doors were open on the first time, so she definitely...
She definitely found Beatrice.
Found Beatrice, probably, and she probably did the same thing here, right? That's why it took her a while. She went around opening all the doors, and then eventually there's just one left, and then it's, all right, here's Johnny.
Exactly.
But that makes me wonder, is she going here to kill Beatrice? Or is she coming here to reclaim Beatrice or something?
I think it's a killing thing. Because
I wouldn't be surprised if
Beatrice,
it was a killing
I think,
thing.
is not supposed to have that gospel.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
For at least whoever Elsa's affiliated with.
Yeah, and that definitely makes sense as far as a concrete objective beyond just attack and kill people. Because if you think about it, 2 maids, why kill them? Like, unless you're wanting to send a message to Roswell when he gets back,
kind of thing.
It seems like a leave no witnesses. But if you want to talk about objectives, it would either be kill Beatrice while she's vulnerable, or potentially kill Beatrice and raid the place, reclaim maybe something that she has.
No one else seeing what you're doing while you're there.
Yeah, because also, like, in order to get to Beatrice, you really have to reduce the entire population of the mansion to 0. Because if there's one person left, they can just go around closing doors, right? On a different floor. And you're like, well, shit, I'm still not getting to the right door, So,
right.
Yeah.
Right. I also want to say something that's a little bit of a characterization thing for Beatrice that I really appreciate, because Beatrice is kind of one of those like side character MVPs of this show. Like she's just like,
she really is.
She's just like one of the best characters that gets the least amount of screen time.
Yes,
I agree. Her
Mm-hmm.
whole gimmick, her whole little characterization thing, not characterization, her whole character design kind of aspect, it makes it extra fun. But she was very flustered by Subaru's actions here.
Oh, yeah.
But she also saved Subaru. There was something that we got confirmed, is that Subaru wasn't trying to be saved here.
Right.
When he opened that door and was like...
Yeah, because he had the hand on the knob, yeah.
Yeah, but when the episode started, he's banging on the door being like, why did you save me?
Yeah, let me back out.
Let me back out.
Which I love because like Subaru's been in situations before where he is in a bad timeline, but he doesn't immediately try to die, right? However, up till this season, he has not had a situation where, because he just wasn't in the right place, he got a save point that went past something bad happening, right? So now he's traumatized and freaking out of like, shit, this could
screw up everything.
This could screw up everything. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe me coming in here with Beatrice, I can't even talk to her, because maybe talking to her will give some information or whatever that'll trip the next flag or whatever, and now I can't go back.
Right.
And Petra's dead, and all of this stuff has happened, right? So as soon as possible, don't try and get anything else. I need to die, right?
Yeah.
Like that's.
it's a really panicky situation
Yep.
But Beatrice saving him, and one, having it be potentially the only door that's shut, but him also, like, getting through there. What I'm guessing happened on the other side is that Elsa was like, what the hell? Just open it. And she opens the door and he's not
Nothing's there, yeah.
And she's just like, what the?
Right. So she's like, oh, he's with the shut-in. Okay.
Right. So then she goes and finds eventually the door that is shut in addition to this. So I want to put out on a limb there just a little bit that Beatrice really cares about Subaru, and that's part of the reason why he's always found the right door.
Oh,
because
okay.
it's not that he's finding the right door.
She's making it the right door?
She's maybe subconsciously making it the right door.
Okay.
Now, I like more the idea that Subaru just has his luck thing that he just keeps doing. And she's just like, what the?
Right.
Like, I'm the one that makes DMs, like, cringe and pain and stuff like that because I break their games and stuff. But if it's the thing of where here she was trying to save him, that means that she knew that he was in danger out there as well and didn't help anyone else.
But she didn't help anyone else. And I'm so glad that Subaru brought that up. And I'm not sure, like, there's a part of me that wonders if she even could have, because she wasn't even successful in saving him here. The fact that she stayed in her room makes it seem like she knows it's a futile effort, and yet she still had to bring him in just to save him for a little bit.
Right. And the reason for that is because he's different than the people out there who she also must have known were in danger, but didn't save because the book didn't tell her to. And this is the confirmation that she does ignore the book when it comes to Subaru. Otherwise, why is he any different here?
Right. The only reason he would potentially be different is because of the whole thing of the miasma that Garf talked about. But, I mean, she knew about that ever since,
Yeah, that's not anything new.
Yeah, that's not new information.
So if anything here, I really, really want to know Beatrice's backstory.
I do too.
Because she could be in some serious stuff here.
Oh,
and it's one of the other things where I think because of maybe the fact that she's kind of the cute little girl and stuff like that, that it's easy to forget that she's like a Roswell in terms of a mage, basically.
Right. She fought Roswell in season 1 and won.
Well, did she win, or was it just a neutral standoff and we didn't see how it ended?
No, so we didn't see the actual battle.
Right. But they just went all glowing orbs and
glowing orbs. But then she came to him.
That's right.
When he's on the cliffside and ends up jumping off. She came to him. Roswell was not there.
She might have dimension doored out or something and been
possibly,
like, yeah, that was tough.
But
I don't think she said anything about having to kill Roswell.
Oh, maybe not. But it was a quite a bit later.
Yes.
And it was in her how should we say, her expression, her it was she was not happy. So
she might have been forced to do something that she didn't want to.
And that was very much a thing that it felt like of a force to do, because she did make a promise to Subaru, and that sort of it enforced the situation, right?
So she is all about keeping her word with regards to these specific things with
I
Mother.
Suppose. Yeah. Which
with Subaru.
Wow. That okay. Yeah, so yes, that also gives a ton of extra insight into the reason of why her shtick is I suppose.
Yeah.
Because I suppose is I have to, but I don't want to, so I suppose.
Whoa.
Like it's
oh, that's really cool.
So
that's really cool.
Like,
oh, Beatrice.
And yet at the same time, whenever we get Beatrice focus, this feels very similar to season 1, where it's the awesome Beatrice focus, and then it moves somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
Because even now, Subaru, it resets, and he's like, okay, well, because Elsa said that her attack was timed with his arrival, which does seem a little bit weird since everyone was already dead when he came here the last time.
Well, it could be more that she needed, based on the orders that she was given, to have everyone dead by the time that he arrived.
And because he arrived early this time. Right, so she has no pressing need to kill them necessarily right away, or at least Subaru knows that theoretically.
She's lurking the grounds or something and has once some kind of signal goes off that he's arriving, kill everyone. And Elsa's like, I can do this in 3 minutes.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
I don't need
no
to,
time at all. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not any rush then.
Right. Okay. And so now Subaru's back at the sanctuary, just thinking, what am I going to do? And I love that he's thinking like, okay, well, all right, let's talk about Frederica and how she got out. You know, let's talk about let's talk to Roswaal, and since especially the new information that he has about Beatrice, it's like that's potentially some answers that he could get there. You know.
Yeah.
And but then he ends up getting taken captive.
Right.
Lovely.
The part that has my like detective like me thing going off though is the idea of what happens later with Garf and the old lady, which let me get her name here.
What was her name? Wait, did we not have it written down?
We can get it later, but you guys know what we're talking about. The old lady with
the one with the clones,
the clones, the pink hair and stuff like that, and the staff. She's got Garf as her attendant, which I kind of liked as a thing of once I kind of looked at his outfit, I realized, oh, he kind of has the same colors as like
the OG
the prime clone or whatever of those old crones or whatever they are, what have you. Crone clones.
Right.
But Garf could smell which is miasma, which is another kind of cool way of describing it. That he's kind of got this like ooze around him there, which interestingly enough reminds me again of the Frozen Bonds OVA where a black slime miasma thing consumed the...
Okay.
So I don't know.
Okay.
I don't want to go into that. But that Garf has something that he's avoiding about Frederica regarding the idea that Frederica abandoned the sanctuary 10 years ago, which is a very long time ago. Oh.
Right, and so she must have a good reason for not going back if apparently she can go back whenever she wants.
Exactly. The fact that she can go back whenever she wants leads me to believe that Garf doesn't know everything about what she's actually doing because Frederica doesn't trust him.
Sure, and there was that whole look between him and Crone Clone, you know, when they, you know, it's like, oh yeah, she hasn't been back in 10 years, and it's like,
right, and that was after him making a whole thing of going freely, coming and going at will. Like, what do you? Yeah.
Right,
but then the idea that if she's been freely coming and going at will, potentially, or has at the very least not been here for 10 years. The timing of a couple things seems a bit like there is something
shenanigans,
right? There is something going out of the sanctuary and into the sanctuary, back and forth,
right? And because
I'm not sure what it is,
right? Because there's a lot of characters that we can't fully trust right now. Roswaal is one of them. Garf is one of them. Crone Clone and Frederica, I would say, right? Those are the main ones. Probably.
And Frederica had a moment,
and also kind of Beatrice
when Subaru came back the second time, where she was out checking the barrier near the forest.
Right.
Alone.
Yeah, which could totally be part of her duties, you know.
Or she's potentially just kind of casually back and forth going there and keeping Roswaal up to date, maybe, with things.
Essentially.
And here's where I think that this is the part that seems the most sus with regards to this, is that if Elsa timed this with regards to his return, the only reason why you would do that is if you didn't want to give off too much information early that would stop Subaru from coming here. Because if it's a thing of where you only want to do it once he's left.
So it's awareness that there is some communication from the mansion to the sanctuary. So make sure that it's around when they arrive, so that way there won't be it won't change things until
you'll
it's
have
too
the
late,
most
kind of.
time basically to act before Subaru could theoretically do anything.
Right, he won't find out about it before he arrives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And thus be prepared.
Which feels like some weird, like, counterplay of like, well, okay, people know that Subaru by this time, since he seems to just magically do everything perfectly on his first try, right? You know, people would be aware of that and be like, okay, this boy might be a problem. But
but who's aware enough about that to want to finagle things in a specific way so that people die at certain times and stuff?
There are also some things,
I don't know what it's leading to, but it's making my brain hurt.
And then one of the other things that you were pointing out that before the discussion that is good to bring up here, we don't actually know why Frederica left. like originally, not the
Well, it was
sanctuary.
a while ago.
Well, right. There's why she left the
the
sanctuary,
mansion.
but why she left the mansion, because that could have been a lot more recent, right? Because all we know, because
All we know is before Subaru came.
right before Subaru came.
So it doesn't necessarily mean anything right now.
Yeah, but I'm guessing it was something where when she left the sanctuary 10 years ago, that's when she first became a maid, right? And then for some reason she left for, she said, personal reasons, which could be all that it is, or that could be there's something that I don't want to tell you, you know?
Yeah.
And then at some point, and then once, so she leaves, and then once Rem gets, winked out of existence, basically, then suddenly Rem can't keep up with housework and is like, I need another maid. Oh, I'll get back in touch with Frederica, calls her in. Cool, that makes sense.
Right.
But like, what happened there?
Yeah. I also like the idea that when Subaru kind of meets them in the clearing, Garth and
Chrome Clone?
Chrome Clone, as we're calling her right now. We'll get her name again, but I think it was like Yuzuru or something like that. But there's this vibe. Oh, Ryuzu-san.
Okay.
There's this vibe I got that they are not working with Roswaal.
Right.
And the part that's odd here is that because they have potentially been here for so long, like they've been here for quite a while, what changed? Like they would know what would change here in order to bring Roswaal over. Now, it's primarily, I would say, for protection, just on some level. But we know that Roswaal's thing is to set up Emilia to be a hero so that she can rally these citizens to her side with regards to becoming,
get influence,
becoming someone that's a higher political figure and stuff.
From what we know, Roswaal was able to get them all into the sanctuary, but they can't leave unless Emilia saves them, basically.
Right, which just kind of puts this whole thing as like, wait,
yeah,
Roswaal, if Frederica left all that time ago and she's been in your employ at some point in the past, you would know all about the status of the sanctuary.
Yeah, you would think, because
that's where I think the whole 10 years thing with Frederica is extremely important, because it tells you things that Roswaal should know if Frederica is at the very least somewhat loyal to Roswaal.
Well, and anytime you have situations where people have different loyalties,
or like loyalties that they project and loyalties that
but
different loyalties,
but different loyalties.
Yeah.
That if you find out what the loyalties of one group are, then that means you pretty much know what the loyalties of another group isn't, unless it's like a more like splitting hairs difference, where it's like
some deals that have been made.
Right. Oh, you pissed me off a long time ago or something like that, right? But if it's truly when they're truly opposed, and people change. But what we got with Garth and Ryuzu, they very much were like, hold on, you might be, you were pretty sure you're a cultist.
Working with the witch cultists.
You're working with the witch cult. We have to keep you trapped here and all that stuff because we can't let you, try the trial and all that stuff because who knows what you'd be trying to do with that.
Right.
That seems very...
like they'd be on the good side.
Yeah. Now, it might be something where they haven't spent time with Subaru, so they haven't realized that he's actually trustworthy,
Well, they definitely haven't spent any time with Subaru, so...
But that's the only thing...
feel like an imposter.
Right, but that's the only thing that I can grok as far as why they would not actually be... How do I say this? If they are truly opposed to the witches like that, but then they're also opposed to Roswaal, if they're going behind his back, then that throws into question what Roswaal's intentions are, unless it's something like they think Roswaal is compromised or something like that, or he isn't aware of the threat Subaru poses, or whatever.
Yeah, but they want Emilia to do the trial too.
Right.
So in that respect, that's where I think it's more that they don't want to. They don't want to risk this blowing up into something bigger, because Garth said that Subaru's miasma smell and all that was bigger when he came out of the graveyard trial.
Right, which is probably because he interacted with a Echidna.
Because he interacted with a Echidna at that time. Yeah, exactly. So I am very excited for the point when Garth and Subaru become friends.
Okay.
Because there is a lot of ways in which Garfield can end up being a really helpful ally in this regard, given that he is very easily influenced.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, weird thought that I had.
Yeah.
Random. This might be totally stupid, but
do it. What is it? I love these things.
So, okay. They didn't want him to go into the trial instead of Amelia. Now,
Garfend use
right.
Yeah.
That makes me think that they are aware that at the very least there is a witch inside.
Then they wouldn't be confused as to the miasma.
No, okay, sure. Okay, no, that's okay. No, yeah, that's a good point. They could be going. Okay, right.
Because there's a difference between it being a witch's graveyard, like a dead witch in there, versus it being something where he actively got some kind of boon from a witch or the witch.
Right. Yeah, because what they know is
he's still a little bit of a mystery to them, I would say.
Right, because from their perspective, they saw him with a certain level of miasma before he went in, and they're like, okay, miasma, whatever, but, you know, Roswaal seems to trust him and all that, okay, you know. He goes in, the miasma gets stronger.
And they're like, we're watching you.
That's weird, we're watching you. And then he says, I'm going to go in again instead of Amelia. And it's like, okay, no, that's all right, you know, throw him in the dungeon, you know, like.
You've got to be stopped now.
Right, okay.
And the fact that they said... And this is something that's really cool that Garf kind of dropped here, which feels like he's kind of that earnest boy who says a bit too much at times. Like he does things a bit bluntly. Where's the part where he basically says, oh, yeah, like I've seen, like, you guys are pretty famous for being a bunch of weirdos.
Right.
Talking about the
witches cult. Yeah.
Cultists as well. Ain't no need to save someone who wants to die, right? And that kind of bit there basically being like, oh, okay, so I don't kill you here. Not many people have this much miasma.
Yeah, which is crazy because that means there might be some people that have a similar amount, which means what is that? Is that when they're the actual witches? Or are they the archbishops or other people that can return by death? Like, you know... But one of the other things that I think is kind of odd here is that we don't actually know how much they know about the whole witch situation because
I would say most people don't know
most
much.
people don't. But Subaru, when he went into the trial and he met Echidna, he learned about all the other witches, right? And it seemed like it wasn't as straightforward as we originally thought. The history books might not have gotten everything perfectly, and the whole with just how the witches were in the first place, but then also the fact that Echidna was even there. Because, you know...
that could have been some Sith spirit lingering over the grave, creating magic and all that, but
it's...
Until we see her again, we'll just kind of wait and see.
Yeah, but if everyone believes that Satila devoured the other witches, and then they see miasma, they're probably going to think that that's... You know,
almost always Satila.
Satila, right, because it's the witches' cult, not the witch of blah-de-blah's cult. You know,
exactly,
like it's just the witches' cult. So,
yeah. I just gotta then end the discussion then with Otto just being a wholesome good boy, but having this little moment where we get the awkward aspect of Subaru laughing a bit too much here. And this is a cool little reminder here, guys, that while the continuity of the timeline keeps getting reverted, Subaru remembers and feels all of this. So when he has someone that comes at him with this, hey, I really just wanted to be your friend, he takes all that in and just goes, wow, wow, I could have, wow. Like, just the idea of this person here who's wanted to be his friend all along, and he has pushed him away a ton. He kind of laughs at himself, not just because he's stupid and didn't notice that Otto wanted to be his friend, but also how many times Otto could have been helpful or a friend in those specific times, and the pain that he had to go through maybe because he didn't either trust Otto or didn't think much of Otto. And those tears that came out of his eyes when he was laughing there. Buddy. Subaru.
Because one of the things that, like, when Otto showed up, I was suspicious.
Yeah, like how do you get there that easily?
Like, how do you get there that easily? Like, that's a big deal. No one knows about this place.
Secretly really good stealth magic user.
Right. Like, I was thinking maybe originally that it's like, okay, he took the deal, and then he used that to get information, and he's like, okay, cool, like, and then I'll get Subaru back.
But and it's just Garth is actually that dumb, you know?
No, yeah, right, exactly. But, yeah, and Subaru was like, why are you doing this? Because he doesn't believe him, right? And then he's like, no, I just wanted to be your friend. That's a very simple...
We're friends, right? Yeah.
Right, that's a very simple emotion, very simple, simple emotion, but the gesture is anything but simple.
Yeah.
He went against a terrifying half-beast, outwitted, outmaneuvered, got in here, saved you.
Yep.
Like, that's a big deal. Now, granted, Ram was helping him out a bit, you know?
Yeah.
But still.
Now, they are potentially about to have the next trial go up. Mm-hmm. But...
Garth is also transforming and going to go after them.
Subaru's gone.
And I love, as a way to make him really seem terrifying, it's no. Frederica is a quarter beast. Mm-hmm. He's half beast.
Yes.
One, that makes me wonder, what the hell is a full beast? But this transformation does seem like it's going to be a bit crazier than the one we've already seen. So, yeah.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
But I love
Rams.
I wonder a second what if you direct before I became an old granny. Not that I would become like any less cute as an old granny. But yeah. And she kind of does like a little power pose thing after this. I'm like,
Right. Yeah.
God, I love Ram so much.
She
Ram
was another one of those
snarky.
characters from season 1 that. Oh yeah, like her and Beatrice, I feel like, were the two characters from season 1 where I was like, I feel like they really got shafted on screen time. Like,
oh yeah, like, Ram especially.
Yeah, because
who's Ram, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I still remember those bits where she would like teach him how to read and stuff. Like those were sweet moments.
Those were really cool.
Yeah.
But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and long discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. Also, be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if anything that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.